Hey, message in a bottle, August 28th, 2018. Thought we'd do a little something different and have watched a little background of TellTale's Guardians of the Galaxies. TellTale Games has been around for a few years, having started off with A Wolf Among Us, a obscure DC comic book series, to bigger and better things, everything from Minecraft to Batman, and a 5-episode deal. That's usually how they do it, in increments of 5 episodes each story. And this one happens to focus on Guardians of the Galaxy, not at any one point. It's obviously takes place somewhere around the first movie, since Groot is still alive, but yet they give the impression that it's after, which obviously couldn't be the case, since Groot would most likely still be dead. And, the younger Groot having not, obviously not Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So it's hard to peg where it's supposed to take place in the movies stream of things, if it is at all. But anyway, just thought I'd have it running in the background, since I find it interesting. And I don't go into major details, is that you have to make choices in terms of dialogue, and often that choice of dialogue is to who you're going to side with, who you're going to focus on helping. Yes. And when it comes down to it, you can't please everyone. It's impossible. At some point, you're gonna piss off one person, you're gonna piss off somebody else, you're gonna make somebody mad. And for anyone that has kids, I would encourage them to involve games like this, just because you play them and then you have an opportunity to talk about them. About choices made, how they felt, and, all those things involved. Because it can be a learning opportunity as well as a growth opportunity. Because, that's not your typical game of having to, hunt for something or things like that. So, like I said, TellTale's, in this case I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy, something worth look forward to, for people that like something unusual and different, especially those with kids. Alright, enough said there. Let you guys enjoy that. Let's go over some life stuff. As far as the last week of August and the 1st of September, still at Walmart. Still not happy with the current situation with Cat Team 1 having to work in the dairy and frozen apartments, and subsequently stock their stuff. And because I don't like being cold, I'll be honest with you, straight up, do not like the cold, do not feel I have to like the cold, ever going to like the cold. So been looking for work, obviously. Fortunately I had a misstep with Target, someplace I used to work at back a long time ago in the 90s, is I didn't take into account this particular Target's location, and it was farther than I wanted to go. So when they did call me, dumbass that I am, I couldn't go. So I'm hoping that with the targets that I applied to today that are closest to me, some significantly closer, that I'm hoping that with this letter I'm going to write explaining why I gave a proper 2 weeks notice and what was in credit for doing so, I can maybe get past that and get hired at Target again. Because honestly, I worked for Target back in the 90s for almost 10 years, a little over 10 years. And in my mind, it was a decent enough experience, and honestly, I'm looking to do that for the next 10 years. Just solid job, solid benefits for the life changes that are, going to come down the pike. Not least of which is that, either me or my cats, one of us is going to go first. And it's really morbid, I know, to talk about and say, especially on a video log, but I'm just being honest. I would rather her go peacefully than have to go with me being dead in the apartment for a while, and her being, cold, hungry, and alone, and then subjected to having to be with strangers for the rest of her life. And so as morbid as it is, I would rather her go first peacefully, because that kind of signals the end of doing things like this. Not that I've been doing it for very long, but I'm going to be moving to probably close to Phoenix. Shittier apartment. Hate using foul language. A shittier apartment. And having to give up some nicer stuff and just living really tight, because that will probably be the last place I live at. before I die. And I'd much rather move back to Cali. I'd much rather die there, but you know, I just don't see that happening. And if nothing else, I am cursed with the ability just to see things as they are. No BS. And I just, unless some drastic factors are going to jump working in my favor, there is not a whole lot I can do to make things better. I would love to be able to snap my fingers and get administrative assistant training, but most of the time that's 2-year college courses. You know, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy to do any more school. After University of Phoenix, going there and getting a teaching degree, that didn't really help me out that much. You know, I'm just, honestly, I have given school my heart, blood, and soul since high school on, and I am very much tired of school. My feeling is school effing owes me a lot. And as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't repaid that debt by any means. But anyway, like I said, still looking for work, hoping for the best and more focused places like Target. Oh, there's Peter. God love his collector of art. Like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy, side note, always like them because they just seem to be a very dysfunctional family. Less a team, more dysfunctional family. I guess I can understand that, especially now at this point in my life, more than anything else. Anyway, moving on, my brother's feeling better, still having problems with his neck, which is a very weird situation. And he's planning to visit California to visit some old friends and spend a little time there before starting a new job. And, you know, normally that might bother me, being I so desperately miss California, but for me, I don't want to be treated like a tourist. I don't want to visit home. I want to go home. And if I can't go home, then, you know, there's no point of even considering going to California, because there's nothing there left for me, you know, other than to go home. If I can't go home, then there's no point in talking about it, or, you know, planning, or, you know, hoping, or I don't do the hoping and planning unless the finances and the access and the is there, and it's just not. Fortunately, Arizona is the best I'm going to be able to do for right now, and I wish it were otherwise. And Peter's such a dumbass. And, you know, go from there. I mean, that is what it is. Hope Ryan, my brother, has a good trip. And I'll probably wind this down a little earlier than my first attempt at narration. When it comes down to it, my life is very simple and straightforward with predictable boundaries, you know, when it comes down to it. Not a lot of newness or stress. Uncharted territories. I was thinking Nathan Drake stuff, you know, where you're jumping off buildings every other day. You know, very calm stuff. Not a lot of interesting. And my feeling is, you want to wish for interesting, be prepared for interesting, because a lot of the interesting comes with a lot of change, a lot of, you know, stuff in your face. You know, so don't ask for that unless you really want that. Love that situation, because I think I actually directed Drax to talking to Gamora and getting some more headspace and some, you know, better decision making. Which, you know, Drax's case, he could use both. Love Dave Bautista on the WWFE in his role with this, because he just plays such a big warrior dumbass. You're like thinking, this guy is really freaking clueless when it comes to stuff. And it was nothing else. One of my better decision making for episode 2 is I think I directed him towards a better path. Gamera's pissed at Peter, but, you know, I was trying to be nice to Rocket, but being nice to Rocket cost me Gamera. And I got flushed on an airlock a couple times, so, you know, hey. That's why I tend to get into and talk more about games, is because they're doing a little bit more than I am. I'm not one of those people that are seeing the world, exploring the world, or doing any of the things that really just seems to count. And so we'll wind that down. Like I said, overall, I'm okay. I guess if you have to, there's no one word that would really, sum up this week other than, preparedness. I think I'm a little bit more prepared for job hunting than I was. It's more focused on the last time I, went job hunting, and I'm really hoping that, it'll work out within the next, month to less, that I can just start focusing on getting hopefully back with Target, getting into the swing of things there, and getting ready for, the effed upness that is the holidays. Really don't enjoy the holidays. Because, no offense, after 20 years of retail, I just don't really love people. People are idiots. No offense to y'all, but people are idiots. And, it's just...
Heads up, everyone. We're going to Half World.
Just don't get paid enough at all in order to, to be able to live with all that. But like I said, I'd rather start with Target and, move on from there. But anyway, we're going to wind down with the Guardians, check them out any way possible, because they are definitely worth checking out. You guys have a good week. Appreciate anyone that has stopped by and listened to me ramble for a couple weeks, and I hope that out of this insanity, that of all these video logs, that a little insight into me is possible. Like I said, take it easy, guys, and hasta.